Imagine one day waking up in a world where there are wars and armed conflicts, pandemics, economic disasters, hunger, water shortages, human trafficking and slavery, and the worst of all, growing climate catastrophes destroying everything. Well, today we wake up in such a world like every single day, and we are used to it. It has become our normal state of things, but it's not. And today the whole world has to wake up before it's too late. This wake-up call was the International Forum Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, that ran across the whole world, the whole globe on the 7th of May. And the live broadcast was streamed on thousands of platforms and was interpreted into 100 languages. It was organized by volunteers from 180 countries because we can change this daily way we live today as a society, and we can find the way out only together. And our tool today is the information about the danger and global threats we are in as an entire civilization, and the information about the solutions that will work in the new format of society, create a society.
Yes, greetings. And indeed, the forum resonates with millions of people. And as a result, they join the project Creative Society and our daily international discussions. And today with us are Nathan Mulenga, who is a social media manager, climate change activist, inspirational speaker, author. Nathan worked with a number of NGOs, both locally and globally, and also one of the interpreters to Bemba. Hi, Nathan, and welcome to the international discussion. Also
Hello.
With us today is Moeketsi Phokojoe, who is a classic bodybuilder and a personal trainer, and also one of the interpreters to Sisulu language. Hi, Moeketsi, welcome.
Welcome, friends, and thank you for joining us today. So, Nathan, would you like please to share what you learned during the International Forum and about also your experience, about your participation as an entrepreneur?
I learned quite a lot of things, and one of them, like you've just from sharing, I learned that in the world which seems to be perfect, there are things that goes on behind the scenes, and quite a number of people have been pretending for so long that they are helping individuals, hence they are not. And we've seen that there are so many young girls who are being trafficked day and night, and people pretending to come and help individuals, hence they are stealing human beings and they're not even helping them. And we've seen another enemy that we have, which is climate change. It's because of our inhuman activities, because we do not take care of our earth. And even if we have in our minds to say someday we may go to planet Mars, I think it may take years and years for us to get there. But otherwise, we've failed to take care of our planet, which was given to us by God, and we failed to take care of our fellow human beings. And the other thing that I learned that day is that we have quite a number of ideas on how we want to shape the world, but because there are so many selfish individuals who run our states, I may not mention their names, but because they're just selfish, they have money, they want to control everything, and they want to control how people should live, which is not good. And they come in the name of trying to help one another, but in the end, the results are just catastrophes. So I'm saying that these things are happening, and they'll keep on happening if we don't act, because it calls for everyone. Like this thing calls for everyone to be involved. It's the total citizens involvement. or should I say total member involvement. It has to involve everyone. It's not just one man standing or one man protesting or one man trying to change the world. It has to involve everyone from one state to another. We're about 180 something states, 184 states, countries in the world. So which means if all of us were to come together, we can do one great thing, because we all want to live and we all want to survive. If we don't do this, then none is going to live and we're all going to extinct. Moreover, there are diseases that are coming, and a lot of people died from the pandemic, and we don't know how it came about. Maybe it's because we're not taking care of our planet, or maybe because we did something. But if we can come together as one and try to eliminate our common enemy, we'll do one great thing, and the future generation is going to be proud of us. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're absolutely right. We are damaging our planet. Our planet is sick, yet we are not studying the main cause of climate change, which was described in the forum and spoke about in the forum, which is the cyclicality of 12,000 years. And that is a huge problem today, because this is our common enemy. The climate is going to take all of us. And it is important for us to unite today so that our future generations will be proud of us, and so that we, the people, can live. Thank you so much. And then also, Moeketsi, could you please share your understandings after watching the forum, and what information touched you the most?
Oh, thank you. I quite learned a lot from the forum. Really, it's surprising the info that came out there. It's very enlightening information. Not only that, but I was impressed by a particular speech from Leslie, opening speech from Leslie. It really gave you a clear view of what could be, what human can influence, and what we are in a position that we cannot influence, which is the climate. Leslie's speech contained all the picture that is really needed for the world to know about what we humans are capable of and what we are incapable of in terms of climate, and in terms of we as people, factors that we are doing ourselves that are destroying our own world. So yeah, that was just it. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. And what I also remember from the opening speech by Leslie, that we have so many crimes in our society that are done just by our hands, or by our inaction, by our supporting this format, so that we basically, by changing the format, can deal with it. So we can change it. It's in our hands. But we have just a bigger problem that we cannot negotiate with, and this is climate. So you cannot stop it by paying taxes. You cannot stop it by just going on the streets, because it needs really other solutions. And thank you very much for pointing out these topics. I would like to stress one particular topic, because what we hear today, talking with many people, they hope that some organizations or political leaders would change the situation. And I saw just recently the tweet by UNHCR, which is saying, like, it's a quote, a milestone we hoped would never have to mark. 100 million people have now fled their homes. But my question is, but what did the UN and other international organizations who meant to protect human rights actually really do to eliminate such atrocities of the consumerist format of society, like human trafficking, slavery, sex and organ trade, exploitation of refugees, and many, many other? So why will still, aid never work? I mean, why this aid will never work in the society that we have today? So let us watch a video abstract from the forum on this topic.
this, you may think it will never happen to you. While those people have been given all the help they needed and they are now safe. And indeed, there is now a huge number of organizations and foundations dedicated to helping people. The largest of them, the United Nations, is positioning itself as the guarantor of peace and security of humankind. For decades, we have been hearing beautiful slogans and promises from high rostrums. If you listen to these loud statements, it may seem that we will solve all our problems. There will be no more poverty, no more hunger, no more wars, and we will all live well. After all, there are over 100 international organizations working under the aegis of the United Nations to solve the world's problems. For every new problem, a new organization is created. Every year, UN member states pay huge contributions to these organizations. In fact, this is money from our pockets. These are the taxes we pay to the state. Between 2010 and 2020, according to official data, the 44 UN organizations alone raised $540.4 billion. Contributions to the UN organizations have increased by 58% over 10 years. But let's take a look at what we have achieved over this period of time. The largest amount of money today goes to solving the problem of hunger. The main UN organizations to tackle this problem are the World Food Program, WFP, and the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. They have raised $79.8 billion over the last 10 years. Current estimates are that almost 690 million people are hungry in the world and 750 million people are severely food insecure. The Food and Agriculture Organization itself predicts an even greater increase in hunger by 2030. 841 million people. So, the World Food Program is projecting funding needs for 2022 already at $13.9 billion. So they say, there will be more hungry people, so they need more money. It is a legitimate question. How is it that, with ever-increasing funding, the problem itself is only becoming worse? Let's look at another problem, the refugee problem. The number of refugees has doubled over the past 10 years, comprising 82.4 million in 2020. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, deals with refugee issues. Over the past 10 years, funding for the organization has increased by 56%, reaching $4.8 billion in 2020. Let's look at what kind of help they provide to people. One area of refugee assistance is shelter. On their website, they state, the main part of our protection mission is to guarantee access to proper shelter in humanitarian emergencies. We provide tents, distribute plastic sheeting, and develop strategies, tools, and guidance in emergency situations, and provide emergency assistance to those who need it most. On cold nights or hot days, our help can be the deciding factor between life and death. In an emergency, tarpaulin tents are an adequate short-term measure. But people live in such tent camps for years in inhumane conditions with no hope of the future. Due to the lack of even basic sanitation conditions, people die of infectious diseases. Who benefits from the problem not being solved? As long as there is a problem, there is funding. And if the problem is solved, there will be no funding and therefore no organizations. As long as there is a financial interest, as long as someone makes money from it, no one will solve the problem. The UN itself is very much like a transnational corporation in its structure. There is a parent company that coordinates and manages the activities of its other companies, but each brand is a separate business entity. In 2020, more than $3.7 billion was spent to maintain the UN bureaucracy on staff and director salaries, health insurance, holidays, business class flights, and other expenses. The planned expenditures for the renovation of the Palace of Nations alone in Switzerland, where the UN headquarters is located, is $871 million. With this money, 174,000 houses could be built using 3D printing technology. How many refugee families could benefit from this housing? But alas, building homes for those in need is not a priority for their aid. What do we have in the end? Numerous organizations that we have entrusted with the responsibility of solving serious problems of humanity turn out, on closer examination, to be merely business structures. It becomes obvious that there is a direct interest in the growth and aggravation of problems. In other words, it is beneficial for someone that people starve, struggle to survive, and make wars with each other. And that is the cynicism of the consumerist format of society, creating the illusion of solving a problem without the real goal of eradicating it is a principle of the consumerist format. Under such conditions, it is tantamount to anesthesia for a fatal illness. And even closing or reforming some organizations or firing some individuals will not save the situation, because new ones will come in their place and do the same thing, making money off our lives. Today, because of our tacit support to the consumerist format, we are all on the precipice. The rapid escalation of all crises will soon bring us all, without exception, to the brink of disaster. What kind of help will we get? A piece of tarpaulin for shelter and a couple of bottles of water?
You know, today we see a lot of major problems, a lot of major crises worldwide. And I would have to say that the main reason how we got into this is because we were taught to shift our responsibility onto the leaders of countries, on some certain organizations, and in hope that they will solve our problems for us. But what we see today is that those leaders are only solving their own problems. And unfortunately, not our problems. And that is because we live in this consumerist format of society. That is the way it is. And don't you think it is time to unite and peacefully begin resolving our problems so we can build the world we deserve? I honestly think it's time today. All these crises worldwide, they need to end, because it's not going to bring us anything good except sorrow and death as we see today. Nathan, maybe you can share, in your opinion, after watching the forum and seeing what is happening in your city, after learning about the project Creative Society and so far and so forth, and knowing all the crises that we are facing today, what can be done to solve all the problems? Can you please share just your personal understanding?
I think one wise man once told me that if you can't beat the system, you have to join the system. I think that would be the best and the best solution for us to do, because I'm saying that we've been waiting for this opportunity for so long, and it's more like there's been cartels of individuals who have been curtailing these organizations. And I do understand, coming from the background of being someone or a lawyer in the making, I do understand the law from the onset, like from my state, and also I do understand international law, and I do understand human rights. I know that states have to pay cuts to one another, and have to give respect to one another. They don't have to interfere into another state's business. I do understand that human rights are inherent, like we were born with them and no one can take away from us. But there's only one problem, and the problem is this: there is no enforcement mechanisms. There's none, in short, there's none. So if there were a body like UN, which was to make laws which are enforceable to protect the interest of the people, the first interest has to be people, then that thing was going to work. And this is why I'm seeing creative society heading towards to, because I'm saying that people will be free to view, to give out their views, and people will be free to express whatever it is they're feeling. Because for UN, yes, they come up with recommendations, but they will just talk. There's no way to enforce them and to make them that they become a reality. People will just go there, will talk, presidents will go there, president will come in, president will go, and nothing can change and nothing will ever change. I was just watching the other day on Facebook where they were saying that in the US there was a massive killing or shooting at a certain school. This is in the administration of President Joe Biden, and I understand Joe Biden doesn't support that, but even in his administration, such things are happening, which means there's need to change certain things. There's need to help people. People are frustrated. People just work day and night, and they don't have time to rest. So there's need for us to come up with mechanisms and to find means on how we can help one another. Yes, we understand these organizations are there to help people, but to what extent are they going to help us? And for how long are they going to be there? Because we don't know for how long these organizations will keep on running, and we don't know their agenda yet. Yes, they may be there to promote peace and dignity, but what's the main agenda? What are they intending to achieve? I'm not trying to attack any individual or to attack any organization, but I'm just talking from my personal view to say it will be better if these organizations were to be established to put humans first. Now it's like they've put organizations first and they've put humans later. Like it doesn't even suit in any way. So these organizations, if they were to support, and for instance, the initiative for creative society, which was just started by people, this initiative is to be supported by governments, but you find that very few people engage themselves in such initiatives, and they do not even want to share because they know that definitely their interest won't be granted and won't be given, because they know that people now will get to know their dark secrets, and they won't even be able to make profit. So it's quite interesting to get get involved in such initiatives such as creative society, and looking at how these organizations have been making money and people are still suffering. And I wonder where someone can get huge money to support people who are going into the war, and like people who do not have food. Food security is still an issue in Africa and the rest of the world. But you find that these people don't even care how much money they raise and how much money they want to give individuals who are suffering. We still have wars in Africa, and yet we still have these organizations. What are they doing? We understand they don't have to interfere into another state's business, but what are they really doing? What is their objective? What is their main objective? If at all they were established to make sure that there's peace, where is peace? Because we are scared. We don't even know what the future holds. If we keep on having such things, if such things will keep on happening, then there's no future, there's no hope. And on the other hand, climate change is also like it keeps on changing day and night. Here in Zambia, we used to like experience rainfall, let's say from January to somewhere here in July, but it has stopped. Rains normally stop in May and sometimes in February because of climate change and the activities that these individuals are doing. So it's quite important, and this has to go to each one of us to contemplate upon these things, to say, where are we going to live if we destroy our planet? The biggest problem is that we have failed to put humans first. We've put organizations and our interests first. We want to make profit. These organizations are being curtailed by individuals whom we don't even know. We don't know what their agenda is, and we don't know. You know, I'm just been repeating the same things, but because I'm trying to make sure that I air out my views and I make sure that people get the gist of what I'm trying to communicate. It's very important for us to work together and to support this movement and to make sure that we form one big thing. Everyone will be happy by the end of the day.
Absolutely. You brought up so many good points. That is exactly how it is. You're absolutely correct. We need to make sure that human life is of the highest value. We need to make sure that all people, like it says, like you said, are born with the rights, and that those people, every single individual has those rights. Right now, we see that it is not happening. And again, we also see that there's so many organizations that are trying to solve all these problems, or that are fighting with all these problems of poverty and hunger and refugees and so on and so forth. But in spending billions or trillions of money on all these problems. But on the contrary, when we look outside the window, everything is getting worse and worse and worse. And we're just seeing these on TV. We're just seeing, they're saying that hunger is going to get worse. Inflation is going to get worse. Climate is going to get worse. But where is our solution? Nobody's providing us with a basic solution to what to do. And Creative Society, this, project for all the people that was created by the people, for the people, is the only solution today to truly get our humanity out of this crisis, so we can all start living like human beings, like the right that we have. And it's just so great that this project is out there. We just need to spread the word. And Moeketsi, I know I can see that you're back. Maybe you can add as well to the prior question that we asked. What can be done, in your opinion, to solve all the problems?
For all the things that have been put as the measures that fight the climate change, the food security, it's obvious none of them have really worked into seeing that happening. Actually, only have that solution. Creative Society is the only solution to all the problems. It covers everything in a way that validates each human's life. So I can't find any other idea when it comes to the solutions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much also for being the part of the solution, friends, because you are the ones who also spreading this information. So because many people across the world, like 99% of all of us, want to live in the Creative Society, where indeed, as Nathan, you said, where there will be the mechanisms of implementing the foundations of a creative society that will guarantee the human rights. They will not declare them, they will guarantee them. And as you said, this is the only way, but people need to know that there is the way out. And for joining the project, also spreading this information, people find out that they are not alone. And you, as a part of interpreters team, international team, it is really big step in informing people. And as you also mentioned before, the climate change, yes, this is today one of the topics that is being hyped on. I mean, this is a really good trend to show how, we care about the planet. But, indeed, we see the fruits of what is being done for the climate and for people. So, and this is very loud topic that we hear like everywhere, but nothing is being done to stop the disasters. And today we are not studying the real cause of climate change, which is the cyclicity of 12,000 years. And we are solving a problem that doesn't exist. And someone is getting rich, but we, like the people, are dying in these climate disasters. And the time is not on our side. And we need really to hurry up in informing people. A lot of facts, a lot of really important information was presented on the forum on 7th of May. And I would like to ask you, Franz, also, what role do you think the information plays today? And the access to the information, so to the truthful information about the real state of things. So, Nathan, maybe you could share your thoughts on it.
I think that the best way could be, it's just that I don't know how this can work to the best interest of everyone, because creative society has tried by all means to bring this to the table and to make sure that everyone gets the information, because it's not possible to bring people together. And you do understand that for certain conferences like the one that is taking 11 hours, some people even shun away, would say, why should I interpret for 11 hours and I'm just volunteering? I hope you understand. But it's one thing that is encouraging for people to join, to make sure that they translate into their various languages, so that everyone who's getting the information will be able to share the same information. That's one of the best mechanisms I can say, because it's easy for people to understand. And even, sorry to use, because I normally use my fraternity, because I'm part of it. Even the legal system, if all legal systems in the world, if they were to be translated into their various languages that people can understand, then everyone will understand the kind of crimes that they've committed. I hope you are getting what I'm trying to communicate. Even creative society, the means that they've used to disseminate information to individuals, to the public, it's quite a good one, because one, they're targeting social media, they're targeting TikTok, they're targeting Facebook, Twitter. Like everywhere you search, you find creative society, even on YouTube. And the other day I was surprised when I tried to search for myself. I found that, I'm here. Okay. So it's one thing that is really encouraging for individuals to get information, because information is out there. Maybe another thing, but I've already seen creative society is doing any possible means, because I've already seen that people have written quite a number of articles about creative society and its foundations. And in these same articles, you find topics that are talking about climate change. And a lot of people have explained and have provided solutions on how these things may be solved. But it's just that, in most countries, it's very difficult for people to understand certain things unless someone is there to explain to them, unless someone is there to tell them, to say, here you have to do this, or there you have to do that. And certain countries, people don't even read. Reading culture is very bad. So when they are listening to someone who's telling them, more like having a conversation with them, it's very easy for them to get the information, because it's just going straight into their hearing. And like reading for themselves, it will take some time, because they'll just pack the books, or they'll just pack the articles or the materials. But for someone who's watching and listening, it's very easy for them to get the information. So maybe the other target can be just to target this same organization for them to get involved, fully involved, to whatever extent. Even if they will refuse, we will find means until they get involved and they support the movement, because this is the wonderful movement which is trying to save humanity. And I'm sure in one way or another, we all benefit by the end of the day. Because if I say climate change, like I just give you an example in Zambia and many parts of the world, we've seen that now there's global warming, and it's becoming hot each and every day because things are changing. The number of activities that are going on, and on the waters, activities that are going on in mining companies, activities that are going on like everywhere. People are trying to create things. It's like we are just destroying our beautiful home, which is Earth. But if we try by all means to work together as one, and we come up with mechanisms that will help everyone, that thing will work. And everyone will benefit, and everyone will be happy by the end of the day.
Absolutely. And thank you for pointing out that we as people have already these means how we can change this very format of society by actually getting this media. I mean, to become these media who will talk and communicate it further. Because what we observe today in the consumer society, we are divided. We are divided by all means. Is it political views or religion or nationality or any other artificial factors? And what you're talking, and also, being interpreter, you're showing the way how to find the way to each other, how to communicate with each other. Because today in the 21st century, we have, for the first time, indeed, the chance to connect globally and to hear each other globally, as it happened on the 7th of May. And this forum is just really breaking out any records, because we've never seen it before, and we've never done it before, such things. But what we observe, we managed it together only because each of you, friends, you just did a step, you made it. So Moeketsi, maybe you would like also to share your understanding how important it is really to take this action, to start with yourself. I mean, to get this information and, to connect with each other.
For the few instances of sharing the information, I realized if you let people to decide to engage with the information themselves, most people do not see the necessity for that. So for some people, they really need some sort of stimuli, to see them go through the information. And like for instance, I'm in a country where we say, which I could say, the climate is rather mild in changes, not yet catastrophic. And to meet people and try share these cases of catastrophes that are happening in other countries, really do not find themselves relating that much with it. And it's one of the scary factors to realize in people, that really this have to be information that we act on before any catastrophes take a bigger impact in what is already they are doing. So another thing is it's quite necessary for people to learn this information from their languages. Is more understandable, and people tend to be more interested in such info as they understand it in their own mother tongue. Yes.
Yes, indeed. And the access to the information is the very step where people can decide by themselves. As you said, we are, live in a world where we do not trust, that much to the sources that we have in our daily news. And that's why we are the people who trust each other because we are the ones who want to live. And that was the title of the forum, Global Crisis. We are people, we want to live. And today, millions die in wars, millions more die in, for example, from lack of water or food. Some die for lack, of healthcare, and others disappear without any trace, or their victims become victims of human trafficking. And all of these deaths, many other unknown deaths, they could have been prevented, because there are a consequence of the consumerist format of present ordered things in our society, and actually we can deal with it. But we have a bigger problem, which is a global climate change and the disasters that are already coming to each of us. And just a week ago, we had in Germany a very strong and devastated tornado, which is really uncommon and unusual thing. This is a phenomenon that is unprecedented for Europe, and experts already telling us, we cannot deal with it. We are unprepared to this. But, I'm asking myself, where are these billions and trillions of dollars that have been paid in the last 40 years and still are being paid? So we are still paying for it. For the lies that we can influence climate by cutting the CO2 emissions. We learned from the forum that this is really a lie. And we are being robbed and we are being lied to and forced to accept it. So don't you see this?
Indeed, today we are slaves. And I can say this, we are slaves to the consumer format, but we are the people and we are strong, but only when we are united all together. And this is our time to speak up and to change everything. And thankfully, the forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, demonstrated that worldwide unification is already happening and offered the solution how to peacefully deal with all the crises humanity is faced with today that can be solved only by building the creative society. But there's only one problem. Today, unfortunately, not everyone knows about the solution and all the information that has been provided at the forum. People are looking for the solution, and it is up to us, up to those people who already know about it, to share it and to spread the information about the creative society and about the forum. Because today, our future depends on those who are already aware of this vital solution for all of humanity. And today, dear viewers, guests, as we draw to a close, I would like to thank you, our guests, for joining us today, for taking the time. I would like to give a big thank you to you for interpreting the forum so that people that speak different tongue can understand it and have this information. Also, I would like to remind our viewers that the Creative Society platform is created for the unification of all people. So be part of it. It's very easy. You can visit creativesociety.com and just click the Join Us button. You will see a red button on the top of the page. And also, if you would like to participate in the international discussion as the one you're watching right now, and you have watched the forum and when you would like to share your understandings, please email us. Our email address is info@creativesociety.com, and we would love to have you as a guest.
And I would like also to thank you, dear friends, from my side. It was a really big pleasure to have you with us. And in the conclusion, I would like to ask now our viewers, to you who are watching it right now, after watching this discussion, after seeing what is happening right behind your window, so what will you choose? So what will be your choice? To keep waking up in the world that is falling apart and continue to keep silent, or to act for the betterment of the whole society?